Hi, my name is Phil Ford. A Carolina story. Well, I've got a lot of those, but one that I've told for years that's very special to me goes, when I was a senior in high school, I was what you call a parade All-American. And that's like the top 10 high school basketball players in America. And I received over 300 questionnaires from different schools inquiring if I would be interested in attending their school. Now, I didn't get recruited by over 300 schools, but I received that many questionnaires. Well, my mom was a public school teacher, and as my dad, and she didn't get involved with recruiting a whole lot. Matter of fact, when coaches would come to Rocky Mount to visit me, to talk to me about coming to their school, it was usually only my high school coach, Richard Hicks, my dad, and myself. And this happened maybe 5 or 6 times. Well, when North Carolina was going to come to visit me and Dean Smith was going to come to visit me, all of a sudden, my mom wants to sit into that meeting. She starts talking about when is it I want to come, and I didn't know what was going on. But come to find out that the reason that my mom wanted to sit in on the meeting with Dean Smith, she actually thought that he was the dean of a college at North Carolina, and she was going to handle the academic part. She didn't realize that he was the head coach. Well, she sits in on the meeting, and Coach Smith and my high school coach and my dad and myself, and for the first 35 minutes of the meeting, Coach Smith didn't talk about basketball at all. We talked about so many different things, being a good friend, being a good student, race relations, just so many things. And the other coaches that had come in to visit me were telling me how much I was going to play. They even had charts that they would take one guy out and put my name in there. And some coaches were even telling me that I would start. Well, Coach Smith looks me in the eye and says, I'm not quite sure where you'll fit in yet, but you may have to play JV if you come to North Carolina. And you know, I grew up a North Carolina fan with Charlie Scott, the first African American to play at Carolina. When I was in the 6th and 7th grade, I wanted to go there. And when Coach Smith told me that kind of made me feel a little bad. But anyway, as the story goes, Coach Smith leaves, and my mom comes into my room. Well, evidently I had gone in to study or do something. I was in there by myself, and she comes in, sits on the bed, and says, Phil Jr., we can trust Dean Smith. And I'm looking at her and says, Ma, you don't even know who it is. What are you talking about? Well, she says, I've heard you and your dad, Big Phil, talk, and I know that you wanted to go to North Carolina for a long time. And if Coach Smith is going to let you go to North Carolina and you aren't good enough to play there yet, but he's going to let you play JV to get better, what's wrong with that? And then let's say your sophomore year, you get to play a little bit on the varsity. Your junior year, you get to play a little bit more on the varsity. Now, just to say, you're going into your senior year at North Carolina and you have a chance to be a starter. You can be assured that Coach Smith won't be out starting promising your starting position to another high school All-American. And from that day on, Coach Smith and my family, we've had a great relationship.